name is Christina Smith. The DETU has relied heavily on the testimony of tobacco scientist Peter Valberg to support the claim that smart meters are safe. Valberg, in the past, has also claimed that asbestos and lead cause no harm. The Center for Public Integrity published a series called Science for Sale in February of 2016. The series reported that Peter Valberg discounted the significance of 22 brain tumor deaths at a chemical plant. It was the largest occupational brain cancer cluster ever reported. The Center for Public Integrity reported that Valberg blamed illness caused by asbestos exposure on cigarettes. The lawyer he was working with on this case was fired from his law firm due to this outrageous action. The center also reported that Gradient, the company where Peter Valberg works, publishes high-volume tainted science defending harmful products. As a result of the Center for Public Integrity report, a group of legislators, including Senators Warren and Markey, wrote to the National Institutes on Health. They requested that the National Library of Medicine make changes to the PubMed database of 25 million journal articles. They asked that conflicts of interest be revealed, in part so that our policymakers are not misinformed. Peter Valberg testified for Philips Light cigarettes. During the same week, the Massachusetts DPU called on him to override citizen complaints about smart meter health risks. Many Massachusetts residents are concerned that because Peter Valberg works as a liar for hire, there is no basis for the assumption that smart meters are safe. In fact, a portion of citizens across the country have reported physical harm when wireless meters and infrastructure were installed. The Commonwealth has to decide whether to continue to implement its top-down agenda supported by unethical tobacco science, or to regroup to ensure the integrity of the safety claims. Regarding free market safety testing, the Worcester community was lied to concerning the existence of supposed safety studies in California and Texas. There were no such studies. Please don't allow the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to force ratepayers to invest in unsafe infrastructure on the basis of the tainted reporting on the Worcester pilot.
Okay, so we have two other chunks here. I think climate denial was a subject that someone wanted to talk about. Investigative climate resistance.
Yeah, my question is there's been a recent report that several states' attorney generals have banded together, and Attorney General Maura Healey's office is one of those, to basically develop laws to prosecute people who basically question global warming, question climate change. And I'd like to know why Maura Healey's office, or even Maura Healey, has signed up on this. I'm a member of a conservative grassroots organization, and our organization here in Worcester was key in helping get Charlie Baker and Maura Healey elected. And we have vast arrays of differences of opinion, even within that conservative group. And I'm sorry, but the last time I read the Constitution, it didn't grant any governmental authority to prosecute somebody or even develop laws to prosecute somebody simply because they have a difference of opinion. And I'd like to see that addressed, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the question. I'm going to turn it over to Christoph. We've both been working on this matter, so maybe we could share a little bit about the status of it, and others might be interested as well.
Sure. So the background for this issue is in the fall of last year, a number of documents were published publicly by media organizations about certain research that the fossil fuel industry did in the 1980s through the 1990s about climate change, which that research tended to show that climate change was real, that it was happening, and that it posed severe consequences for the businesses that those companies have, as well as the natural environment and populations around the world. That media disclosure caused our office to take a look at those documents. We looked at those documents. We have been working for many, many years with colleagues around the country and other attorney general's office around this issue of climate change. And I'll state pretty unambiguously that our office is of the view held by the scientific community that climate change is real and is arguably the most important environmental challenge we face as a society. What we did, and we announced, Attorney General Healy announced in March at a meeting in New York, that we initiated an investigation under our state laws, our pre-existing state laws, to see whether there were violations of our consumer and investor protection laws by fossil fuel companies. And so that's what we are doing. We can't speak to the status of that investigation in any specifics. We don't tend to do that. But I will say that we did announce that we are taking that step to investigate, to do an investigation under our existing laws. Those two laws, by the way, are different aspects of Chapter 93A, which is our consumer protection law here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It's a strong law that's intended to protect both consumers who are buying products and investors who are buying securities from false and misleading statements and unfair and deceptive business practices. So I think that's about all I can say at this point, but we did not initiate an effort to create new laws, and we are pursuing that work as we do any other investigation of potential malfeasance by companies or individuals.
Thank you.
My name is Brad Moss. I live in Shrewsbury. So we are in a climate crisis right now. It is one of the most important issues facing all of us and our families. I have 2 small children. We'll find out that even our core foundational institutions in the state also are standing behind the severity of climate change and how it affects us now. One of those institutions is the University of Massachusetts. So they have recently, their foundation and the Board of Trustees have recently issued a statement saying that they are going to divest from all fossil fuels. That includes coal, which they've already done. That includes oil, and that includes natural gas. So they are saying that these fossil fuels are not our future. That can be interpreted to say fossil fuels are not our future. UMass is an economic powerhouse as well, so financially, morally, and environmentally, they're making a stand saying that these forms of very extractive and very exploitive energy sources is not something that we as a Commonwealth should be moving in that direction towards. Indirectly, there's been a call that we keep all fossil fuels in the ground. And when we talk about this, we really should be looking at if you look at the science, we're really in a kind of state of emergency where the science that's coming out of our own institutions federally too, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has recently come out and said that they are saying by 2050, predicting that we could have up to 9 feet of sea level rise. 9 feet of sea level rise.
Complete utter bunk.
Pretty much take out the city of Boston, New York, Miami. So we're talking about and most of the coastlines around the world, and all of the, I think 40% of civilization lives on the coastline. So we have a direct, immediate threat to our Massachusetts Commonwealth, and where all of our people and institutions are. So I just wanted to make the statement that we are, you mentioned, investigating companies like Exxon, who have been accused of, or however you want to say that, of investing in Dow over, I think it was since 1977. I would have been 5 years old at the time. My son, by 2050, that they will be my age, and so I'm really hoping that the Attorney General's office is going to be looking out for us and our families and making sure that we don't wait until 2050 to invest, to hold people accountable, like we mentioned about lead, asbestos, EMFs. I think it would be fair to say that people want to be protected now and not after the fact. We don't want to have asbestos around, lead around, and EMFs around. We want that action taken now. So, for example, if you look at investigating fossil fuel companies like Exxon, is there something that we could do locally to look at big fossil fuel companies that would be stand to profit from having an influence here in the region? Could we investigate now and find out what they know now, like such companies as Spectre and Kinder Morgan are coming in and proposing projects? Would it make sense to investigate now? What do you know about climate change? And have them explain how a lot of these fossil fuel companies have designed their platforms to be higher, so that way, when they're out at sea, they're going to be higher and not take direct effects. Their infrastructure takes direct effects, as well as knowing that the ice is melting, the permafrost is melting in the Arctic, so they get those roads that they could drive on at one time to get those fossil fuels are not going to be drivable in the future, and all that science that goes that they may be planning for. Can we investigate companies like that are now and hold them accountable now rather than after the fact?
Thank you very much. Others on climate denial?
I just want to say that I'm very grateful that when it's come to light that there are companies that are purposely spreading disinformation against the science that they have discovered and they know, that I think it's wonderful that you are looking into it and investigating it, and the Attorney General are coming together to take a look at that. Because it's like the tobacco companies hiding the evidence, or any of these companies hiding the evidence. This is just wrong. And if they're doing it with smart meters and they're hiding the evidence now, that's wrong too. So if it's already been done, I understood it even back as far as the 1950s, some people came out with information that the smog in Los Angeles was caused by oil, and immediately the oil companies attacked them and discredited them, and of course now 50 years later you know that it's true, they knew it then too. And so bravo for you for taking on, and I think that's a wonderful role and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. If there's no one else on this topic, I know there are a few people wanted to talk generally about toxics, so I just want to make sure we have time for